Oh. Oh, the chat. Get the chat going. Get the chat going. Try the chat. Try the chat. All right. The question tonight, the only thing we care about, is Stream Elements going to work? Or is it going to leave me hanging again? That's the only thing I care about. So for those who were in the last stream, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you weren't there, we have a bot that runs on the stream that allows us to type in commands to like display messages and stuff. And oh my word, look at that. Freight train. Oh, it's working. The bot is working. Oh man. All right, well, I mean, that's a successful stream. We can probably just wrap it up and call it a day. Yeah, I think we're done. I had to send Stream Elements an email and I was like, hey, it's broken. I can't fix it. Please do something. And they responded back not too long after, and they're probably hours. And they're like, yeah, we reset it. We did something or something and it should work now. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, how do I test it to make sure it's working? Can I test it on like a unlisted or private stream? And they're like, no, the only way for the bot to work is to be at a public stream. And so I was like, that's dumb. I don't think I told them this. But in my brain, I was like, that's dumb. So in order to test the bot, I have to be live to everybody. That's like the stupidest mechanic you can come up with. Anyway, so today was the test and it's actually working. And that is spectacular. I'm super happy. That made my day. I can go to sleep now and sleep in peace. I always sleep in peace. I always sleep well. Okay, anyway, let's see, what am I doing? We're going to spam Discord with a link to the stream and then we're gonna start. So let's do that. Let's get a link right there. I'm gonna go over to Discord. Every week I have thousands of people leave my Discord server because I spam them. All right, here we go. There's somebody who always leaves beans as a reaction emoji too. Somebody's like beans. Every time I make a post, somebody puts beans. And then sometimes they put rice and beans. And then sometimes people put reactions in between their letters and it messes them all up. All right, here we go. Hello, folks. We are live with some good old Q&A. I answer questions and generally display my complete ignorance on all things dungeon mastering. It's great. You should come check it out. Whee! All right, that's gonna be, oh, you gotta put the link in and then at everyone. There we go. Bacon. There we go. You're about to mention 2,000 plus people. Are you sure? I've done worse. I've done worse. All right. Let's see. Uh-oh, somebody's got like a space destroyer on there. Bacon, somebody reacted with bacon. Nice. They did a super reaction with bacon. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get off from there. I don't need to look at that anymore. I have so many channels on my Discord that we don't use. They need to be obliterated from orbit. All right. Yeah, so let's just say hi to people. Hello, people. Owen Davies, what up, dude? Welcome, man. And we have Freight Trains in the house. Sweet. So we got some mods hooking it up. We had a new mod too. Didn't we have somebody else that was there somebody else that joined us as mods too? Because I know Owen, you were, and you came back, and then Freight has been a mod for a while now. I swear there was a new mod we were pulling in. There might have been another one, but anyway, because I had a meltdown last stream because we didn't have any mods, and stream the bot wasn't working, and I'm like, I have to paste all my links and stuff myself. So I had a meltdown, and then I sent a message to Tashio, who's our like super moderator guru dude. And I was like, Tashio, I need mods, man, help me please. So Now we have a couple, it looks like. At least. So that's good. All right. Lord Elithorn, what's up, dude? How you doing? Melduke, what up? Evan Bashna, hello. Evan Bashna says, screw it, we'll do it live. As an AV tech, the story of my life. Dude. Well, nothing ever goes wrong when you're live. Dreams Gone, hello. Michael says they're concerned you're getting enough proteins and legumes in your diet. Oh, I get plenty of protein and legumes. What? One of my staples as a meal is a big plate. Imagine a big, huge plate, as big as you can fit in a microwave. And a quarter of it has chicken on it. Usually it's a chicken quarter, which is the thigh and the drumstick. So it's a chicken quarter. And then the other, no, it's a quarter. A quarter is the chicken. And then a quarter of it is literally like 2 big, massive scoops of beans. Like probably a cup of beans. And black beans usually. And then the other half is usually like a salad or vegetables. So that's like my staple. So believe me, I get plenty of protein and legumes. And my wife probably about a week ago made a bean soup, ham and bean soup. And so that's been something I've been eating. Let's just put it this way. You do not want to be in my basement, or probably in my house, or in the hotel room after I leave. Yeah, it's not pleasant. Proteins and legumes. Is that the DM Lair Kickstarter? Yes, that's our Kickstarter. Protein and legumes. We're gonna sell you bags of rice and beans. That's it. Rice and beans. Like what is it? Popeyes. That's not how you say it in English. Popeyes is how you say it in Spanish. Popeyes. So Popeyes has like a rice and beans side dish. And I don't know why I just thought of that, but they do. Hoodless Variety Channel says, I'd hang out with you if you had beans. Oh, I always have beans, dude. I can go up to my fridge right now and get beans for you. Cooked, ready to go. By the way, no canned beans. They're all dry beans, and we cook them. We got the onions and the garlic and a little bit of spices in there and stuff. Like, these are good beans. You know, they're just, you don't got to put anything on these things. You just eat them, and they're delicious. Well, I think they're delicious. Most people are probably not, because most people are used to eating garbage, but I think they taste delicious. Okay, iron rations. My cat wants to come up here. What are we doing? I'm not focusing. Toby Gunn says, hello, I hear this is the Cult of Bacon meeting. Yes, this is the Cult of Bacon. That's what we do around here. Just talk about bacon and stuff. Bacon and bean and bacon soup. Yeah, that'd be good. This was ham. This was a ham and bean soup, but it was really good. And we had some of those ham bones left over from, man, they were left over from Thanksgiving, I think. Yeah, that's what happened. You know what happened? So we had Thanksgiving, right? This is obviously a while ago. And my mom like made enough food for an army. It was insane. She made so much food. And we had stuff in our refrigerator. We froze some of it and stuff. And well, it turns out that we forgot about the ham. And so about a week or 2 weeks ago, my wife was like, Luke, we have a bunch of ham and ham bones in the freezer from Thanksgiving. Like, I'm gonna make soup with that. And I was like, cool, that sounds great. And so that's where the ham came from. Just in case you were curious, because I know you were about that. So anyway, we should probably start. Then I'll start answering questions too. So let's start the stream. Everybody here's like, we haven't started yet? No, this is the prelude. Okay, we have now begun the stream. Welcome to the live stream. I am joined by my co-chair, Squeaky. He's not going to contribute anything except for being cute and fluffy and walking around and bothering me and getting hair on my shirt. That's usually his biggest contributions. Oh, occasionally he bites me too. He'll just bite me. I guess it's a love nip or something. And he's going to rub against the cameras. He's going to rub against the cameras and move the cameras around on me. Good job, buddy. You could literally see the camera moving. It's great. It's great, buddy. Anyway, that's his contribution. He just messes the stream up. But ironically, people are here probably because of the cat more than because of me, which is fair. He's probably a lot cuter than I am. So we're doing Q&A tonight, so you can leave your questions in the chat, and I will answer them. We'll talk about stuff, and we'll probably goof around a lot tonight because apparently I'm like in a goof around mood tonight. So before we begin, we got to do all of our like shameless plugs and stuff. The first thing that you fine folks need to know about that's super, super important is that our next Kickstarter, Layers and Legends 2, is launching April 2nd. These are the covers and the alt covers that are flashing before your eyes on screen. These covers are so beautiful. Those right there, I want those on my shelf. Those alt covers, we had Brandon Lancaster is our artist who did, Brendan Lancaster is our artist who did, he did these covers, the normal covers, and he also did the alt covers, and they're gorgeous. So amazingly amazing. I love these things. So anyway, this is launching April 2nd. It's going to be 2 big fat books. Each book's over 300 pages. You're going to have over 600 pages of content for 5th edition. So we're talking adventures spanning levels 1 to 20, over 30 adventures, levels 1 to 20, over 100 monsters spanning the entire breadth of the challenge rating, challenge rating level range thing. We got puzzles, we got traps, we have standalone encounters. There are maps in there for everything. We have new rule sets as well, things to fill in some of the gaps in 5th edition that they don't talk about. Imagine if they were to publish like a space-based setting, and they didn't publish rules for space combat. Well, we thought about stuff like that, not that they would ever do that, but if they were to do something like that, we made a few rules for certain things, not space combat, but you get my drift. We filled in the gaps in a few different places. So anyway, this thing's going to be beautiful. There's a link down in the chat, hopefully in the description too, where you can go follow this thing to get notified when it goes live. And by the way, those alt covers right there, we have early backer specials going for those alt covers. You're going to save tons of money on those things, and you're going to get them for almost the same price as the regular covers, but during the first 3 days. So the first 3 days, the first 72 hours, you're going to save tons on those alt covers. So definitely follow the Kickstarter, get notified when it launches so you can get in on those. Maybe you don't want the alt covers. Then these covers are beautiful too. But if you want the alt covers, do that stuff. And we're going to have a Foundry VTT pack as well. So if you play on Foundry, all of our adventures and monsters right there on Foundry for you as well. It's going to be super, super beautiful. So, all right, I've probably talked about that Kickstarter enough. I should probably go on to the next thing. You guys are rolling your eyes like, Luke, shut up about your Kickstarter, man. All right, what's the next thing I got to talk about? Oh, yes. Michael Boreal. Was that a subtle jab at Wizards of the Coast over Spelljammer? I do not do subtle jabs. I'm like a blunt trauma instruments, I'm like a war maul, so I don't think that was subtle. I think that was overt and clear, but what was it? Where are we going? Okay, so we are raising money for Canines for Warriors. So let's go over to their page. So this is the charity that we're currently raising money for. I got it. Where is this? There we go. All right, so Canines for Warriors. These guys provide service dogs for veterans who are going through hard times, like mental stuff or PTSD or whatever. These guys give them service dogs, and there's apparently research and crap that shows that service dogs help a ton with that stuff that these guys go through. They've served our country. They've done amazing stuff. All right, and so what I want to do is I'm working to raise $500 to donate to these guys. If you want to help donate to this, there is a link down in the chat where you can tip. 100% of all tips will go to Canines for Warriors. Now, you don't have to tip. You can just go donate to them directly if you want to. There's a link in the chat as well where you can just go to their website and learn more about them. And by the way, I did a little bit of research on them as a charity, and they have a super high rating as a charity. So money that goes to them is very, very trustworthy, that they're actually going to use it for what they say, and they're not going to pocket a bunch of it or spend a ton on administrative costs and bull crap like that. So super reputable as far as I can see, if you're concerned about that sort of thing. And the other thing that I wanted to say, what else was I going to say about this? I had something else I wanted to say about this charity too. Oh yeah. So there's a bar on our screen that way that shows how much money we've raised so far out of 500. Currently we've raised 0, and that's embarrassing. It makes me look like I suck. and I don't want to cry in a corner. So if we could just get like one person to donate like $10 or something to tip it, you know, it would make me look like not a loser, and that'd be really cool because that red bar is embarrassing. So anyway, if you have some mercy in your hearts, you do that. And yeah, otherwise, just loser. All right, cool. Next thing, we have a giveaway going on as well, ladies and gentlemen. So we're giving away, we do this every single live stream. We have a giveaway. If you join the giveaway, at the end of the live stream, we draw a winner. And the winner gets $50 store credit on the DM Lair store, where you can get a whole bunch of resources for your games. We have 5th edition resources, we have Pathfinder resources, we have Foundry packs, and oh my gosh, I gotta go review that. We have sold out of our Layers and Legends, our first Layers and Legends books, which are hot, crazy sellers, and we have new ones there. I have to review. They sent me the samples over there. I have to go review them and then tell my folks that my printers be like, yep, they look good. So I literally have a box sitting there. I need to open that box and put eyeballs on those books and then send them an email that says they look good. I have to do that. So I should probably do that at some point. But anyway, my point is that as soon as we get those, we're gonna put those back up on the store as well. So anyway, if you want to get $50 store credit, join the giveaway. There's a link down in the chat. There we go. Thank you, Killer Kitty. Thank you for the $25 tip to Canines for Warriors. They say, love this charity, so important. Thank you so much. See, that makes me feel better. Now my screen, my little bar here is not just red. When it's all red, it makes me look like a loser. When it has a little bit of green there, I like, okay, I don't completely suck. All right, I don't suffer from like a lot of self-esteem stuff, and I just put myself down because I think it's funny, just in case you're wondering. I'm actually feel pretty good about myself most of the time, which is why I make self-disparaging remarks, because I don't care. All right, BD Blake, thank you, sir, for $10. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. All right, cool. So now we feel better about that. All right, I think the next thing, Thorian says, post D&D one-shot live stream again. It's kind of like an after party. Yes, after party with the cat. It's good. All right, now I need to read names, and then we're going to start with the Q&A. All right, so all these wonderful people that you see on the screen here are our patrons, and our wonderful, awesome, amazing patrons. They support the content that we create. That's what patrons do. For instance, all of you here are currently watching a live stream, and I'm probably at some point going to answer your questions, which is why you're probably here. Well, guess what? All of these patrons help support these live streams. They help support all of my videos that go on my channel. The ones that talk about Game Master advice, all of my stupid skits that make fun of dumb crap that annoys probably everybody except for people who don't play the game and only watch YouTube videos and are on Reddit but never play the game. Those people probably don't understand quite as much because it's just theory and not actual practice. But anyway, I don't know if that was a tangent. So, but thank you, patrons. You're all amazing. I love you. Our patrons also get Lair Magazine every month, which is our premium resource for Game Masters. It's for 5th edition and Pathfinder 2, just in case you're interested. All right, these folks right here, I read their names out loud because they support at a higher level, and they bribe me, literally pay me more to read their names. They also get a whole bunch of other content. These patrons right here are $25 and above patrons, and these guys get crap tons of content every single month for their games. So that's probably one of the reasons they support at this level. It's probably not only to get their names read out loud, but I suppose it probably could be. Okay, I shall now read the names. Aaron H, Agile M, Alex S, Alexander O, Alithana, L&D, Amanda W, Ambers, Angelique K, Anton K, Art Soccer, Ashley, Alucas, Beavis Con, Bees and Stays, Ben B, Black Wolf, Bradley H, Brandon P, Brian D, Brian O, Brian the Lion, Brian J, Carl C, Caddick Wolf, Christian E, Christian B, Christopher G, Clay W, Colette H, Colin W, Connor D, Contrary Gravy, Corey A, Courtney H, Kwan B, Derek T, Daz What Up, David S, Dawolf 85, Dalen W, Dean BD, Derek E, Dice Goblin Wannabe. Listen, if you want dice, you can get them so cheap on Amazon. It's just crazy. Don D, Draxus, Dungeon of Terra, Ed R, Edward B, Edward L, and Frabo, and Dorian 72, Eric B, Philippe H, Gabriel T, Gene A, Gene W, George E, George R, Greg P, Guapo, Gubin, GVTM, Heart U, HLD, Important, Ken Cascade, Jackie Pizza, Jacob K, James L, Jeff S, Jeremy W, Jarig, Jim P, Joanne P, Joel J, John A, John B, John D, John the Wicked, John Pinkanos, Jonathan F, Jonathan H, Jonathan S, Jonathan B, Jordan A, Jose B, Joseph H, Joseph W, Josh M, Josh S, Juan, Justin J, Jeb, Kevin W, Killsaber K, Curry, Laura H, Laser Something, H Scion VW, Letter Mage, Lionheart, Linda, Loki, Lord H. By the way, if you become a $25 patron, you should totally make your name something completely incomprehensible so that like when I read your name on the stream, I completely can't do it and I totally screwed up. That would be a pretty smart move, I think, maybe. But you got to make, yeah. Anyway, keep going. Master Noob, Matthew C, Meepy670. Did I miss a line? Lord H, Lieberclaw, Matlock, Macy S, Mama D, Marcel V, Marcus, Martin E, Meepy, Michael S, Michelangelo, Mirostal, Mitchell, Mo20s, Mordakin, Morganth, Morvay, Nicholas H, Nick H, Neareth, Nostromo, Old Mad Mage, Oleg, Paul C, Paul S, Pathnick, Pivotal, Porkchop Bacon, Pulpit Master, Randall C, Randy B, Rebar, Renner C, Richard M, Robert C, Robin M, B, Roll for Combat, Rope L, Ross A, Ryan, Saul R, Sakura, Samantha J, Sarah H, Sarah P, Scott R, Shadow, Shane L, Sean the Ice, Simfan, Soul Naya, Stefan, I don't know, G, Stephen T, Steve S, Sturm, T Warner, Tabletop Nerd, Tyler Nardna, Therese T, Terry V, the O, the D-Box, the DM, the Jackal, the Dice Dragon, the Fuzzled, the New Bed, Ombre, Thomas F, TK, Tom B, Tom T, Travels T, Trinity S, Tyler D, Tyler R, Valagor, Victoria Q, Vladimir S, Val Hoff, Valaz, Wesley K, William C, XX Red Drum, Zombie Trami. All right, I got through it and go there. Beautiful. Cool. Mountain Oasis, thank you for the $10 sticker. I think that's what we call those. It's a sticker. Cool. All right. Jay Walker says, I admit I'm here for the cats and you. Yes, thank you. See that, Squeaky? That person is there for you. Yeah, you should go bite them instead of biting me. Yeah, look at him. He lowered his head. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. All right. Questions. Let's go. There were some questions at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to go back in time a little bit. Okay. Ed Fleming says, a player in a group I run mentioned that my distribution of magic items is not fair. All right, you're going to get yourself a big stick. Oh, get a quarterstaff and beat them over the head. And you know what you're going to tell them? You're going to say, look at this. This is the periodic table. All right. Guess what? Dungeon Master's at the top. All right. You just shut up and sit down. But don't do that. Some of you believe me when I say stuff like that. Actually, I don't think anybody believes me when I say that. I hope you don't. Good gravy. The rest of his question. Some are more powerful for some classes, not others. How do I fix that? Well, here's the thing. You could only do your best, right? I think there's two things to bear in mind, okay? First of all, some people are going to complain no matter what you do. You could have the most fair, equally distributed magic items in the world, and that person, whoever it is going to complain. They will complain all over the place. I wanted to cloak a displacement, whatever. Some people are going to complain. So you could do your best, but just bear in mind that sometimes there are some people in this world that cannot be pleased. So that might be the case. So that's always a possibility. So keep that in mind. The second thing, sometimes people don't have like they're biased. And they don't have like an unbiased viewpoint of things, right? And so they perhaps are not judging the situation correctly. So perhaps the magic items are okay and they are balanced, but they just don't think they are, even though objectively they are, and they're just gonna see it the wrong way. What are you gonna do? Just gonna give them super powerful things so they feel better and then they see it their way? So some people, they're not necessarily complaining to complain, but they don't have an accurate viewpoint of things. So what are you going to do? You know, try to explain it to them, I guess, and lay it out. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. Now, in the case, let's assume that there is an actual problem with the distribution and it is lopsided or unbalanced. Well, then the best you can do is try to correct it, right? You can try to, like, one of the things, so I do my magic items two ways. First of all, I roll on random tables for magic items, and players will get stuff that way. But other times, I will take an inventory of what the group has, and I will say, okay, like this guy, and this guy are rolling in magic items, but these two people like don't have much at all. I need to give them some love. I'm gonna go handpick some magic items that are specifically for them that are gonna help them. So that's one of the things that I do in my games is I handpick magic items to try to give some love, you know. So whoever's complaining about it, I mean, anytime somebody brings up an objection, I think that it's worthwhile to consider, like, what if it's true, and to go evaluate the thing, you know. I mean, you know, we all have blind spots, things we don't realize, things we think are okay but actually aren't. And until somebody else informs us of an issue, we might have no idea that it exists. And so if somebody has a complaint or a problem or an issue they bring up, then it always is worth looking at, right? So analyze it, take a look at things, and if it seems like it's off a little bit, correct it, you know, and then handpick some stuff and make sure you distribute it out to players. You know, it's tough in 5th edition. Here's the problem with this. Now, if you're playing Pathfinder 2, it's a lot easier because the magic items are better balanced, and the bonuses you get from them tend to be smaller and more incremental, and they aren't like world-changing stuff. Now, if you go from like an item 2 to an item 18, yeah, it's going to be a big difference. But in 5th edition, what you find is that some of these magic items are really powerful. They do crazy stuff, right? And the disparity between something that's uncommon and rare can be big. And here's the other thing. A lot of the item rarity is wrong. It is dead wrong in 5th edition. And so this is one of those things that like makes it more difficult for game masters to run D&D 5th edition because some of these things are so screwed up. Let me show you something. This is my classic example. This is the example I always point out to people. This is on page 214 of the Dungeon Master Guide. It is the winged boots. The winged boots. According to the game... What is going on over there? Cats are going crazy. According to the game designers, winged boots are uncommon. Now my dog's got a cough. The cat's freaked out. My dog's gonna hack something up. It's great. According to the game designers, winged boots are uncommon. However, what's insane is that right below them, you have wings of flying, which are rare. And if you objectively analyze both of those magic items, what you'll find is that winged boots are more powerful than wings of flying. It's insane. Okay, so I need to do like a stupid skit video on this. So wings of flying allow you to fly for 1 hour, okay? And then once you use them, you can't use them again for 1d12 hours, average 6 hours, we'll pretend. Winged boots, however, they allow you to use them for up to, what, 2 hours? 1 minute. You can use them to fly for up to 4 hours, all at once or in several shorter flights, each one using a minimum of 1 minute from the duration. So you get 4 hours of fly time, and you can use them in short little snippets. And you can split it up however you want. Here's the thing, winged boots essentially de facto give you unlimited flying. Every single combat, you're gonna be able to fly. When there's an obstacle or something to overcome, you're gonna be able to fly. Winged boots are super powerful compared to wings of flying, and yet winged boots are only uncommon, whereas wings of flying are rare. It makes no sense. It's like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And so my point that I'm getting at, besides ranting about that, is that if you are a game master running D&D 5th edition, and your players are concerned that the power and the distribution of the magic items is off, Like, part of the problem is that some of this stuff is just not designed well, and so you as a game master kind of get screwed, and you end up distributing things unfairly through no fault of your own because things just right. So I would say to my players, guys, like, I have an impediment. The game rules are kind of messed up a little bit. All right, I'm doing the best I can. I will analyze your particular use case, your scenario, what's going on with you, and I'll see if I can improve it. I'll do the best I can, but just bear with me here because I am using a game system that's pretty unbalanced in a lot of different ways, and one of them is magic items. So I will do the best I can. I'm not trying to screw you over. It's just sometimes it's hard to do this, you know, and then you hope for the best. So I think I spent enough time on that question. I should probably move on. All right, let's see. I'm scrolling back in time to find previous questions. You can always repost the question if I missed it. There's always a chance I'm ignoring your question. Super chats will get answered right away, though, of course, because they're right in my face. Here we go. What is the name and class of the tabaxi on your desk? That was Squeaky. He is a fluff ball. You know what my wife calls him? My wife calls him balón de playa. Isn't that right? Balón de playa? Yeah. Yeah, he's a beach ball. He's just a big, fluffy, round beach ball is what he is. So, he's a floof ball. So Dredden1 says, what tips would you give to a DM to keep up the big bad engaged and talking crap to the party during combat? To keep the big bad engaged and talking crap. I don't know what, maybe I misunderstand the question, but I think you just do it. Like if your goal is to run the bad guy and also have him talk during combat to the players, you implement it. You just do both. Tips for doing both. I guess I'm walking myself through this question. So if I had trouble doing both, like if I had trouble running a tactical combat while also having a conversation during my turns, probably what I would do is I would write down some bullet points of these are the types of things the big bad is going to tell the players on their turns during combat. You know, maybe like mocking stuff, or you know, commentaries, or like jeering at them, or whatever types of things you want the big bad to talk to say to the players during combat. Make a bullet list of them, and then as you're running the combat, you can just go to your list and just pick the next one, and then just say it. You know, and it's not going to be a long monologue. You're in the middle of combat. It's a short little thing they say, a sentence or two they spit out while they're fighting. You know, and this is a good thing to do because you can turn a combat pillar, a fight, also into a social interaction. You can literally run two pillars at the same time when you have a fight going on with the big bad or the enemies in general, and the characters are, you know, throwing insults, or they're having a quick little conversation back and forth. You can do both pillars at the same time. So it's a really cool thing to do, right? All right, next. Uh-oh. I just jumped way ahead in time. Okay, here we go. Jacob Shark, your next question. But Toby Gunn has a cool comment, and I have to read it. I would like to say love is the videos, and I have seen an improvement in my DMing and being a player as well. Thank you, Luke, for all your videos. You are very welcome, dude. I am happy to help. Absolutely. All right. Viral Spirit says, just hopped on and was going to make a dungeon whilst watching your videos, then saw you were streaming. Yes, I am streaming. Are you still making your dungeon? What level are you making your dungeon for? All right. Okay, so Jacob's like, Luke, you said you were going to answer my question, and now you're just reading other people's comments. I don't like you anymore. I run for two different groups. They have different campaigns, and they both act and treat the game totally differently. How would you recommend time management for both games? Are you talking about prepping for the games? Or are you talking about during the games, like So I would, if you're talking about the idea that since the two groups run the game, they play the game differently, one group gets stuff done quickly and the other group takes forever to get something done, relatively speaking. There's nothing wrong with a slower pace. I have a group that tends to get through content fairly slowly, but we have fun and we enjoy ourselves, and I think that's fine. And my Pathfinder 2 group tends to go faster through content, but we did just have a massive fight that took like an entire game session. They were trolls that kept on healing, and they retreated and they healed up and they came back, and so we just had this very dynamic fight that took a long time. But there's nothing wrong with one group going faster through content than another group. As far as time management, I think the biggest thing to keep an eye on when you're managing the time of the table and how long it takes to do things is simply, are we actively, are most of the players or all of the players actively engaged in playing the game? And are we actually playing the game, or are we not? Like, are we spending a lot of our time talking about the latest movie that you saw and not playing the game? Or are we spending a lot of our time, you know, talking about politics or something that's going on in the world? Or are we spending a lot of time arguing or trying to make decisions and taking forever to make decisions and stuff? Like, so there are parts of getting together and playing that are not exactly playing, right? And so if the group is doing things that aren't playing, then you should consider whether, you know, you should step in and be like, hey guys, can we talk about that movie after the game session? Or, hey guys, you know, there's usually like 15 to 20 minutes when everybody arrives that I'm still getting stuff ready. Like, that's the time to talk about stuff. But when the game starts, we play the game. So those are things to consider if you find people are like, quote unquote, wasting time. It depends on the style of your game too, because not everybody runs the same type of game. Like, my games are mostly down to business. We are there to play the game. Either it's Pathfinder 2 or it's D&D. We're there to play the game. That's why we are there. But not all groups are like that. Some groups are just kind of social groups. They're just friends that get together and hang out and have fun, and they play D&D kind of, but you know, they could take it or leave it as far as that. It could just be watching a movie or playing a board game. It doesn't really matter. So some groups have a different dynamic, and they're there more to socialize than to play the game. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. So I don't know if maybe some of that's going on or something, but I don't know. I talked about the topic. I don't know if I answered your question. Orchard House says, how do I get characters from the material plane into the Feywild? My idea is that at least one of them makes an agreement with some powerful magical being. There's a variety of ways to get them into the Feywild. You could just make a portal appear before them. You could have somebody pay them to go in there and retrieve something, like kind of on a quest or something. You could, I mean, part of the deal with the Feywild is that the portals to it happen randomly in places you wouldn't expect. So you could be walking through a forest and there's like a deep shadow underneath some of the trees. Well, it turns out that walking through that shadow takes you to the Feywild. It's a portal that popped up. You know, there was like a convergence of the Feywild and the material plane at this point, and the barrier between the two planes was thinner. And so walking through that shadow takes you to the Feywild. So there's a variety of ways they could get to the Feywild, you know. So yeah, I think I just mentioned maybe 3 of them or something. But just brainstorm different ways they could go there. And then pick one that seems cool, that seems like fun, you know. If at all possible, it might be better to have your players choose to go there as opposed to unwillingly and unwittingly going there and then having to find their way back. But, you know, if they'd walk through and that's just a problem, you know, oh, we got transported to the Feywild, oh crap, now we gotta get home, you know, that's not a problem either, you know. All right. What YouTube videos would you recommend for learning Foundry VTT? All right, well, let's just go over here. Okay. YouTube, learn Foundry VTT. So Foundry Basics. I would take a look at that video right there. That dude's got a video. Foundry VTT, a quickish beginner's guide. A player's guide to Foundry VTT, all the basics in 10 minutes. I don't know. I would. Okay, here's Foundry VTT tutorial series, the blue collar DM. There's a tutorial series. Oh, there's a Reddit post. Let's see. Okay, so somebody's asking the same question, kind of. I want to learn to use Foundry, and then people are sharing some playlists and stuff on here. There we go. There's some video links. Here's a video link. Bailey Wiki. Okay, so here's another one. This Bailey person, I found them in search, and now this Reddit person is recommending them. So I would go check those out. I'll be frank with you. I did not learn Foundry through YouTube videos, so I have absolutely no clue. I learned Foundry from literally installing Foundry and then poking around. I learned it through poking around. And there were a few things that I didn't know how to do that I did like a Google search on and then discovered it. But I did not find Foundry VTT to be that challenging to learn how to use. There were some things that are not intuitive that I was like, how the heck do you do this? Right? But most of it was, you see, I don't know. I'm like, what am I? I'm a millennial or something. I grew up in the people that like mostly can just open up a computer software and figure out how to use it. And if I can't just open it up and figure out how to use it, it usually means it wasn't designed properly, or it means that it's for like some specialized use, you know, like industry specialized use, and like you need training because it's specialized software. So I just poked around, but there are lots of YouTube videos out there that you can go check out, and you know, watch some, see which you'll find one you like. You'll find somebody you can stomach, you know, somebody who's like, maybe you like monotonous voices that just drone on, you know, deadpan. You'll find someone like that. If you want someone with excitement, you'll find someone with a little bit of energy. I would just go look around. Thorian says, I checked out some similar offerings from other YouTubers, but their monthly content isn't anywhere near the Lair magazine content for a similar price. Well, thank you. You know, he brings up a huge point. We, like, every issue of Lair magazine is usually around 60 pages or so, and it's filled with content, adventures, traps, puzzles, and different things. Just tons of content that you can drag and drop into your 5th edition or your Pathfinder 2 games. So we put out tons of content. And then we give you map packs as well. So you, with your patronage for Lair magazine, for the DM Lair, you're going to get Lair magazine, you're going to get map packs, and then what else do we give you? Those are the big things. If you're at the $25 level, then you're going to get Lair magazine for both 5th edition and Pathfinder 2, because some of us, like me, run games in both. And then you're also going to get the Foundry packs. Like, all of our Lair magazine adventures and monsters are also in Foundry VTT. So at the $25 level, you're going to get the Foundry packs. Literally, you install the thing and it's ready to go. We have dynamic lighting, the monster tokens, the stat blocks, everything works mechanically. You just install the stupid thing and it's beautiful. And then what else do you get at the $25? At the $25 level, you also get like my personal game master notes from my games that I run. My Pathfinder 2 Thieves Abound game, my Ancient Dragon Patreon game for in 5th edition that I run. So you get, and we usually have, we have a bonus adventure too. I'm literally right now writing Escape from the Fae, which is the sequel to Into the Fae, which was my first adventure module I wrote, and now I'm writing Escape from the Fae. And so every month, $25 patrons and above get a new installment of Escape from the Fae. We're trickling it out adventure by adventure, one adventure every month, along with monsters for it, custom monsters for like everything. It's beautiful. We're trickling it out during this year. And then next summer, I think, is when we'll do a Kickstarter to put it into a print book so that everybody can get a nice, beautiful print book. Because I like print books. So that's what we do. So anyway, yeah, there's a crazy bang for buck for our patronage. Like, the amount of content you get for your dollar is amazing. Okay, let's keep going. I'm looking for questions. I'm like back in time too. I'm like way back in time in the chat, just in case you're curious. So this one is from Bree Reynolds. I am starting a new campaign and I want to ban flying PC races. Hey, Adventures League bans them. Like, look at, you guys. If Adventures League bans flying races that can fly at level 1, that tells you something. There must be a reason that flying at low levels is banned. Because it's unbalanced and creates tons of different problems. So, if you want to, I ban flying races. Like literally, if you go, look, let's go to my rules. Oh, I'm already on Reddit. Okay, I'm gonna go to my character creation rules, and I'm going to show you my character creation rules. These are the rules I share with anybody who makes a game. This is for 5th edition. For Pathfinder 2, I don't need special character creation rules. I can just use what's in the book because it was like, it's so tight. But for 5th edition, let me go over here. These are my character creation rules, which I don't know why I have them as a Reddit post, but I used to use Reddit, and so they're here, and that's just where they live now. But literally, my character creation is like 27 point buy, average hit points, you can use these races and stuff. Here's like starting gold and stuff like this, you know, and then specific things not allowed. Anything from Unearthed Arcana, obvious reasons. It's not play tested. Races that give flying at level 1. There you go. And then I have some other things that are just stupid and broken too. For whatever reason, I have this on here. It's usable in the Eberron book, but not in D&D Beyond. I have no idea why there's a difference there, but apparently there was a difference. So, oh yeah, I have some changes to magic items too. Cloak of Displacement is so overpowered, it's not even funny. And then Weapon of Warning, I made a change too. So, anyway, I literally don't allow, like, I allow most things. Most things I have no problem with. If it's in the core rules, I'm usually okay with it. You know, unless somebody picks it and we discover that there's a problem with it, which is one of these things. I swear, was it Bountiful Luck? I think it was Bountiful Luck that somebody had a character with that, and it took one game session for me to be like, no, that's not happening. So, but I'm okay with most things, but races that fly at level 1, not doing it. So, dude, if you want to ban races that can fly at level 1, that's your prerogative as game master, and I feel that you are very justified in doing so. Like, there are lots of game masters that want to just ban stuff for reasons, and I'm just like, okay, if you want to, I suppose, but it doesn't seem, I mean, you have a reason, but I don't know why it's that big of a deal. You know, like, you don't like monks. Okay, like, you ban monks. Why? What's the big deal? You know, monks suck for the first 10 levels and then they become powerful. Like, if somebody wants to suffer for 10 levels to become powerful, I would say let them inflict pain and suffering on themselves, you know, and then when they're powerful, they've earned it, you know? So, but anyway, some people ban monks, and it's like, well, if you want to, you can, but but banning flying at first level, very justified. Very, very justified. All right, next, let's find some more questions. Whee! Kelton Ritchie says, I recently asked my players for backstories. One of the characters left his town out of boredom. How can I create something that will interest the player when I'm given little to nothing? Okay, look at this is the deal with backstories. This is like the unspoken social contract. Like, if my players don't give me a backstory, or their backstory has no hooks in it, there's nothing for me to work with. That's what a hook is. It's something that you can work with, something that you can use in your campaign, in your game. But if a player's backstory doesn't have anything in it that I can use, or they don't give me one, then I can't do anything. You know, this is literally what I would do. Kelton, I would just talk to the player and be like, yo, dude, Timmy, I'm just letting you know, your backstory you gave me has like nothing in it that I can really use and incorporate into the campaign. So I'm just letting you know that like there's nothing I can do with that. Maybe you don't care, and that's fine, because remember, some players don't care about backstories and stuff. They just want to play D&D and they want to go on adventures, and they couldn't give a flying crap about their backstory. Most of the time, I don't even write a backstory when I'm a player. My characters die all the time, which is good incentive not to write backstories. But so some people don't care about the whole backstory thing, and that player might not give a flying crap if you put their backstory into the game or not. In fact, if they gave you nothing in their backstory, then maybe that's their expectation and they don't care. But just talk to them and tell them, hey, I can't do anything with this. And if they're cool with that, they're cool with that, you're good to go. If they're like, oh, really? And you're like, yeah, really. Oh, okay, well then maybe they revise it and give you something else. I don't know, but I would just talk with them. I think that's probably the way to go. All right, I gotta find some more questions. Toby Gunn says, could you give me tips on better descriptive narration? How to describe things better? Look, I think I probably have 2 recommendations for you if you want to describe things better. Practice is going to help a lot. The more you describe things narratively and practice at it, the better you're going to get. So you suck now, presumably, or you're not that good, or I don't know, I'm just saying. You're like, he just said that I sucked. So if you're not that good now, the more you practice, you're probably going to get better at it, right? Generally speaking. Maybe not always, right? Like if you suck at guitar and you practice the guitar, but your practice sucks and you just have no idea what you're doing, well then you're never going to get better at guitar. Maybe you're always going to suck at it, right? So maybe you need professional lessons. So after practicing and just spending time trying to do it, I think that what I do is I envision the thing in my head. Like if the fighter just hacked through a monster and ripped open his lower body and like the intestines spill out onto the ground and there's this waif of odor that comes up into the air, you know, they cut the large intestine, right? And so it doesn't smell good. Like I describe that, you know, I envision it in my brain and then I describe it. And that's it. That's what I do. The other thing that I recommend, Describe is a place you can go. I will show you. Describe. Let's see. If you go to Describe, they have tons of narrative descriptions for you. Come on, baby, let's go. They have tons of narrative descriptions, so you can literally, like, if you want to, dead monster. I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know. You could just type stuff in. Dead monster might not have worked for me. I have to log in too. If I log in, it might do it for me. Yeah, log in. Let me see. I log in. Oh, it's not gonna work. Anyway, I'm not gonna troubleshoot that right now. But if you go to Describe, they have tons of narrative descriptions for different things. You can search for them. You can find them in advance. They have a place on there where you can save and bookmark things so you can plan them for your adventure and stuff. Now, you want to plan it out in advance a little bit because you don't want to like have to search for this stuff as you play the game. You're going to want to prepare a little bit in advance so that your game session can be smooth, you know, so you have the things prepared. But you could use that for a little bit. They have free stuff. They have paid stuff. You could use that for a little bit as kind of like a stopgap until you can ad-lib narrative descriptions better on your own, you know. And there's always going to be times when you have to do it on your own and you're not going to be able to like have something prepared, you know. But that's a resource you can use that you might find helpful. Guitar guy Nick says, I'm a guitar teacher. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm not a guitar teacher. I have a guitar upstairs. It sits next to the TV and it looks nice. That's about all it does. Rachel F, hello. Peeking in on a work break. Well, you should be working, Rachel. What are you doing watching the stream? Actually, you know, most jobs you know, this is the crazy thing. When they Jason, I see your super chat. I will get to your super chat in a hot second. So when people sent their workforce, when companies sent their workforce home because of like the pandemic and everybody's working from home, a lot of them saw an increase in productivity. And one of the reasons you see an increase in productivity is because you're more productive when you're not at the office with people bothering you and talking to you, and you don't have to go to stupid meetings and stupid bullcrap, and you can just get up and do your job, you know? So, what was I trying to say? So my point is that you actually don't have to work the entire time you're at work, because you know half of your day can just be bullcrapping around, and this could be part of your bullcrapping around time when you're doing your job at the office or whatever. So just, you know, bear in mind, you know, most of the time when I actually worked in an office, most of my time was spent. I only actually worked like maybe a couple days a week total. The rest of the time you're in meetings, you're talking to people and stuff. You're not actually working. Now I actually work. Now my days are spent actually doing work, you know, for most of the day. It's a little bit different. Slythar, thank you. I got this shirt off Amazon. My wife told me, she's like, Luke, you've had the same D&D shirts in your videos for like a couple years. You need to get new ones. And I was like, okay. And so I went on Amazon and I bought a bunch of D&D shirts, and now I have a bunch of new D&D shirts. So yeah. All right. Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been lax in my mentioning of our upcoming Kickstarter, Layers and Legends 2. You guys go, there's a link down in the chat. There is a link in the description. Go follow this sucker right here. It is going to launch April 2nd, and we're going to give you 2 big, fat, huge, massive books filled with 5th edition resources. Adventures spanning levels 1 to 20, over 30 adventures. And we're gonna have over 100 monsters, beautiful, delicious monsters to murderize your players with, monsters they have never seen before. So it's something new for them. Bunch of monsters, we got puzzles, we got traps, we got standalone encounters, we have new rule sets and stuff. Lots of amazing crap in here. And these alt covers right here on the screen, we are going to have early backer specials for them where you can save tons of money when this thing launches. The first 3 days, 72 hours, we're going to have early backer specials on the alt covers. So you want, I mean, I think the alt covers are absolutely gorgeous. I want those things. So, I mean, I'm going to get both, obviously. Like, I always get samples of both. They give me like a couple sets of each, you know, so I'm going to have both. But if you want to save money in the alt covers, you know, the first 3 days is the time to do it. So you can click the link and follow them and get notified when it goes live, all that kind of good stuff. And what else am I going to say about that thing? April 2nd, follow it. It's really cool. I think that's kind of all I have to say. It's going to be 2 books, over 600 pages. There's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Oh, by the way, we do have a giveaway going on. Remember to join the giveaway. Can we get a link to the giveaway down in the chat? We're giving away $50 store credit on the DM Lair store, where you can get tons of 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 content for your games, including Foundry packs as well. So if you use Foundry VTT, we have that stuff for you as well for 5th edition and Pathfinder 2. We have all of the goodies over there. So tonight's giveaway, we'll draw it at the end of the stream, and one person will get $50 to go grab a whole bunch of cool crap off our site. And oh, other thing I wanted to mention about Layers and Legends, our Kickstarter, is that we will have a Foundry VTT pack as well, with everything set up for you, so you just plug and play. So that's the last thing I want to mention about that. All right, cool. And then, oh, the dog. I'm sleeping. I am sleeping. Okay, the last thing I want to point out is that we are raising money for Canines for Warriors. This is a charity that helps veterans. They provide service dogs to veterans. So they'll grab a doggy, a poochie poo, they'll train it, which is intensive work and costs a lot of money and stuff. And they will give it to a veteran who is suffering from maybe mental health stuff or some PTSD or other issues they're going through in their life. And they'll give them a service dog that helps a lot with that. They have seen, like, they have stats on their page here and stuff that talk about, and you can do independent research and crap about it too. But service dogs help a lot with this. And so we are trying to raise $500 for Canines for Warriors to give some service dogs to veterans who have served our country and done amazing things for us. So if you would like to participate in that, you can do 2 things. One, you could tip. 100% of all tips will go towards Canines for Warriors. And this bar right here is our tip bar. It shows us our progress. And we're getting started. We're just getting started. So we need some more tips to come in so we can get to our $500 goal. You can also go directly to their site. There's a link in the chat and the description. You can go, if you want to donate directly to them, please do that as well. you can go to their site and donate. If you don't want to use me as a middleman because you don't trust me, because look at this face, you don't want to trust me, then just go to their site. But help these veterans get service dogs, please. All right, there we go. Back to the Q&A. Who won the giveaway last week? I emailed them. I don't know who their name was offhand, but they got an email from me. So if you win the giveaway, check your email. Most of the time people respond and are like, thanks, Luke. But I think I've only ever had one person who never responded to my giveaway email. And it's like, what are you going to do? You know, I emailed you. You didn't say anything. All right. The Fat Runner says, hi, Luke. Really enjoyed your Curse of Strahd campaign. Binged the whole thing in a few months. Wow. Because we had like 47 episodes or something. There was a lot of content in there. I want to run the module soon. Any tips on Curse of Strahd? So the biggest thing that comes to my mind is that Curse of Strahd has not aged very well. Here's the thing. This is what Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition has done historically over the years, and I'm sure they will continue to do this, is they have learned that power sells. And so players will buy new resources if those new resources are more powerful than previous resources. And so as they release stuff, their subsequent releases just keep getting a little bit more powerful, generally speaking. And so what happens is that an older module like Curse of Strahd does not age very well. You get characters that are created using the new rules that are in Tasha's and different stuff that comes out, and those characters end up being pretty darn powerful. And then when they run Curse of Strahd, they're just like curb stomping everything, and it's like, whoa. So one of the things you got to do with Curse of Strahd is you got to beef stuff up. You got to beef it. You got to beef that stuff. That's the first thing you have to do. Besides that, Strahd himself is a lame pushover. Oh my, I had to beef Strahd up so much. And if you watched it, you'll have seen that I beefed the crap out of Strahd. The other thing about Curse of Strahd is that if the party actually gets all 3 artifacts, it's even more trivial. It's even more trivial to fight Curse of Strahd. So I had Strahd have certain powers and abilities that negated to a certain extent the effectiveness of those artifacts. I didn't completely negate them. The players had to discover mechanics and ways to overcome the setback of the artifacts not working. And then once they were able to overcome those setbacks, then the artifacts worked at their full power during the boss fight. And then then tides of battle turned a lot. And so there's a lot of stuff going on there. The overall theme is that Curse of Strahd is too easy. That's the overall theme. You got to beef like everything up. I think that's probably the biggest tip that I can give you, is make everything harder. Don't give everything more hit points though. That's the bad way to make things harder. Remember, like if you just increase the amount of hit points of things, it just makes the battles take longer. And that is the last thing you want to do in D&D 5th edition, is make battles take longer. That's backwards way of beefing up a monster or an encounter. Don't give things more hit points. Okay? Make them do more damage. Make them a greater threat. This will make the combat take just as long, if not less, because things are doing more damage, and it'll increase the drama, the excitement, the tension, right? Because things are beating the crap out of us and they're doing tons of damage. Oh my crap, what are we gonna do? So if you got to pick between, there are different ways to beef up monsters and make things more interesting. But if you just look at these big macro concepts of hit points and damage output, right? You always want to prefer increasing damage over increasing hit points if you're going to make a monster more challenging. And if you look at the Dungeon Master Guide and how the game designers supposedly design monsters and the challenge rating system, those are the 2 big things they look at when determining how difficult a monster is. How many hit points does it have, and what its armor class is, its defense, and what's its damage output, what's its attack modifier, its actual damage it does, and its DC, it's the difficulty class of its spells and abilities. So those are the big things the game designers look at in 5th edition when determining how difficult a monster is. Or at least that's what they put in the Dungeon Master Guide. Now, we all know that they have their special sauce they use because monsters in the official books don't actually follow the rules in the Dungeon Master Guide. And they have their own. Mike Merles, when he was, well, he got fired too. Yeah, he was one of the layoffs. But they also got angry at him. No, the Twitter mob got angry at him for some stuff. And so they had to basically pull a Milton on him and put him down in the basement or something. So, because people got upset at him for something he did. I don't remember the details. But anyway, back in the day when Mike Merles was running streams and stuff, he had a spreadsheet that he was using to calculate the monster challenge difficulty rating, and it wasn't the same thing that was published in the Dungeon Master Guide. So we know that they don't use the rules that are in the book. They use some other special rules. So my guess is I don't think that they nefariously did that. I suspect that what actually happened is that they were sending books to their printer to get them printed while they were still designing parts of the game. And they had to make some changes to how they designed monsters after stuff went to print, or they didn't have time to update the documents being sent to print in the books, And so they ended up making some changes because they were probably under the gun, right? And they had to get stuff hurried and out because you have deadlines and stuff. And so they were just rush, go, 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 go. And so mistakes were made. And there were things that went out the door that probably shouldn't have, but they had to because they had to ship it, And so that's my guess about what happened, which interestingly enough makes you wonder, and hope perhaps that the D&D 6th edition, this is why it's going to get confusing, you guys. So the next edition of D&D was supposed to ship in 2024. Well, a lot of it has been delayed, and a lot of the books that are going to be coming out aren't going to come out until 2025. So I think one of the books, maybe the player handbook or something, is going to come out in November-ish, around the holidays or something, somewhere around there. I don't remember the details. And the rest of the books, like the Dungeon Master Guide, the Monster Manual and stuff, I think are going to come out in 2025. So here's the problem. This is a problem, right? So they refuse to call it D&D 6th edition or 5.5 or anything. And they're adamant that it is the same D&D, it's just D&D 5th edition, right? It's the same edition. And so they have been thus calling it 5th edition 2014 and 5th edition 2024. But the problem is that some of the books aren't really coming out in 2024, are they? They're coming out in 2025. So it's they have to change the moniker here. Maybe it's going to be 2024/2025 or something, or maybe there'll be more delays and whatever is supposed to come out in the holidays won't come out until 2025, and they'll just drop the 2000. My point is they're under the gun for this release as well. And so my suspicion is I would love to see a D&D come out that fixed all of the problems that we have with 5th edition currently. That would be amazing. A revamp of some of these things, like challenge rating, some of these things that dungeon masters have historically struggled with, encounter design, and having it be the difficulty that it's supposed to be according to the book. These are the big issues that dungeon masters have continually complained about with D&D 5th edition. It would be wonderful. Monsters, it would be wonderful if they fixed some of these big problems, and I hope they do. I would love to see that fixed. Have a new, fresh 6th edition, whatever they want to call it, that fixes these issues and is more playable, easier on game masters to run the game. I would love that. My suspicion, though, is that they're under such a rush to ship this product, and there's so much pressure on them, and they've had so many layoffs. Remember, Hasbro fired 25% of their workforce. So they're missing personnel, they're under pressure, they're under the gun, they have deadlines to meet, they're probably under stress and stuff. My fear is that the next edition that comes out is gonna have quality problems. You have a triangle, right? You have scope, you have time, and then you have quality, right? The scope, it's the scope is fixed, and the time isn't totally fixed because they've already delayed it. But the quality is the other part of that production triangle that is flexible, right? And probably is the thing that's going to suffer a little bit. That's my suspicion. So I don't want that to be true, but it's just like I'm looking at this play out and it's like I don't know how it's not going to be true, you know? Okay, Jason Coleman, you super chatted me 34 minutes ago. I said I was going to read your thing and then I didn't do it because I got distracted. I'm literally going to read it right now. Here we go. All right, Jason Coleman super chats $20. Thank you, dude. Hope all is well, sir. Wondering if you have messed around at all with AI and making game tokens for VTT. Highly recommend it. Midjourney is awesome. Nope. We don't use AI. We do not use AI. Nothing. We don't do maps. We don't do artwork. Nothing. We do not use artificial intelligence artwork at all. For anything that we do for our published products, I don't use that stuff in my game. Like, we don't use our AI artwork at all. Maps, tokens, art, nothing. None of that. We have a very, very hard stance that we do not use AI art. No, and do not recommend. Sorry. Next question. Josh Scorcher, $10. My Pathfinder 2 players forget or ignore actions that help them hit better, faint, or trip. No matter how many times I tell them or when I have enemies use them, and then get frustrated when they struggle. Help. Dude, we're all in the same boat, man. Like, seriously. Squeaky, you want to come up here? Come on. You are got fur all over the place, man. It's overwhelming. Until you get used to Pathfinder 2, there's so much, all those little options going on, all those little bonuses you're gonna get, that yeah, it can be overwhelming. So I can understand why players are gonna like miss some of that stuff. The only thing you can do, dude, is try to keep reminding them and helping them and stuff like that. But you're saying they struggle. Okay, so then make it less difficult. Like, this is the beautiful thing about Pathfinder 2, and this is one of the reasons that I like the system, is that if I design a low encounter, like a low difficulty encounter, it's low. If I design it to be trivial, it's trivial. If I design it to be moderate, it's moderate. It's usually pretty on the button with the difficulty. And so if you're throwing severe stuff at them and they're struggling, well, severe, you're supposed to struggle. So bump it down to moderate. If you're throwing a moderate at them and they're struggling, right? Well, then just go to high-low. You know, if the moderate difficulty is like 80 experience points or something like that, we'll make it 60, you know? Don't quote me on those numbers. I'm just pulling those out of my top of my head. So, but just, you know, tweak it a little bit, change it a little bit, make it easier for them. So that's the beautiful thing you can do with Pathfinder 2 is tweak it. So there's nothing wrong with that. If your players, and you know, maybe your players just are not catching on to some of these little bonuses they can get here and there. That's fine. Then just adjust how you're designing stuff a little bit. Make things a tad easier for them, you know? And if you're running a module and it's more difficult to do that, well, then just use the weak adjustment. So you have a bunch of goblins or something, well, have a couple of them be weak, or have the whole squad of them be weak. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So I would do something around those lines. BD Blake, why don't you print your own 5th edition Dungeon Master Guide and sell that? Yeah, there's two problems with that. One, licensing. We would not have the rights to do that. And the SRD and the OGL would not cover all the information you would have to publish to be able to do that, almost assuredly. That's the big thing, so that would never happen. Two is the effort involved, the massive amount of effort involved. Like my team and I, this was a while ago, but we literally floated the idea of, what if we tried to redesign some of these things for 5th edition, like the challenge rating system and how to pick out the encounter difficulties and how to design that and make that up. Like, what if we redesign that and try to figure that system out and make it better? And we were having a discussion, and it was like, you almost have to take it back to ground zero and rebuild it from scratch or something. I don't know, but we talked about it and we're like, yeah, that would be a lot of work and effort, dude. And not only would that be really tough, but again, licensing, you couldn't sell it. It's like, okay, so you're going to spend tons of money and time and effort, opportunity cost, right, to make a thing, and then you can't sell it. It's like, that's not how you run a business usually, with some exceptions, right? No, I don't. Thank you for the super chat, but I do not review homebrews. I do not review homebrews. I'm sorry. I just don't have. I don't have bandwidth. I don't have capacity. I just can't do it. There's no way at all I can do it. I'm sorry. But if you join our Discord, we have a whole bunch of people over there. A lot of them game masters, and we have a home. I'm pretty sure there's like a homebrew channel where you can. It might even be called Review My Homebrew. You can go over there and post it and maybe get some feedback and stuff. But I can't personally do it. I'm sorry, dude. I don't really eat donuts that much anyway. If you were to buy me a chicken, now we might be talking. Or a bacon. Buy me a pig. Buy me a whole pig, a whole hog. No, I still went to it. Okay. Lorenzi says, what would you include in your in real life D&D games if you had no budget? If I had no budget? So I'm gonna add an additional thing. So you say no budget as in money, but one of the other constraints for me is my time. Like, technically, I could probably buy lots of different stuff for my games, terrain and all this kind of stuff. But that's not the big, money isn't necessarily the biggest constraint. My bigger constraint would be my time. For instance, if I bought terrain, guess what I have to do? I have to have the terrain organized so I can find what I need quickly. Before every game, I have to put the terrain together and get it set up. That's a lot of time. And what I do now is I just draw on a white dry erase white grid. That doesn't take any time. And so I'm adding the additional liberty of I had all the time in the world. So I have all the money I need and I have all the time I need to implement whatever I buy with that money. So I'm going to add that caveat to it, and then I'll answer your question. So what would I get for my games if I had unlimited time and unlimited money? Handouts. I would do more handouts. I would just print and type handouts. I want more handouts for my games. Those are really, really cool. And oh, there's such a nice touch when you have a handout. I used to do them a lot more, and now I don't do handouts very often. I just don't have time. And handouts don't cost a whole lot. They're pretty cheap to do. You can even get nice parchment. I have nice parchment paper. I have wax that you can melt on the parchment paper. I have like little tiny pieces of metal that are in shapes of like animals and different things that I can push into the wax to make like a cool seal. I have all this stuff. What I don't have is time to actually make the handouts and do that stuff. I used to because I had more time. Now I don't. So that would be something. Handouts are awesome. Props, game props, like actual props are really cool. Like I was at a convention about a month or so ago, and the game master had little scrolls, that pieces of paper that he wrote on. He wrote game mechanics on them. He rolled them up and he tied a little bit of string around them. And everybody got these scrolls. And when you found a scroll in the game, he gave you this little tiny scroll prop. And you unroll it and it literally had the game mechanics for what you do. That was super cool. Super cool. So props. And that doesn't even cost that much money. It's a matter of time and doing it, right? But that's super cool. I like that. I want a miniature for every monster. I want a miniature for every monster. One of the things that I have lots of miniatures in my case here, and I back every single Reaper Bones Kickstarter to get more minis. Every single one of them. And pretty soon I'm going to be receiving my next batch. I back all of them, but I still don't have all the monsters I need. Like, I'm like, I need this monster. I don't have it. And so I'm always finding myself using monsters that don't perfectly represent what the monster actually is in the game. And I know it doesn't really matter. This is like, we're talking about like super first world problems at this point, right? But this is, you asked me my wish list. This is my wish list. I want a monster mini for every single monster so that I always have the perfect mini. Now, part of that is that I don't want them to be painted because most of the pre-painted minis I have seen suck. They're base coats at best. My other ask is that I want to have the time to paint them all myself. That would be awesome, because then I'm not the world's best painter, but it's not too bad, and I feel good about it because like I did the thing and I think it looks cool. So I would also want time to paint all the minis. I think that's pretty good. If I had those things, that would be amazing. I would love that. So yeah, we'll go with that. And that's the minis are a bit expensive, but the other two things on my wish list don't even cost that much money. It's just a matter of time to be able to do it. Any good ideas on how to implement ambiance in an online session? So ambiance, there's two things that contribute to ambiance, I think. The first thing is being with people in the same room. There's this thing about being with people together that just feels different. You're together with friends and having fun. There's excitement. It's palpable. There's something there. You're never going to get that online. And that's the primary reason that I don't like playing online when I cannot play online. When I can play back here at this table, that's where I want to play because it's so much more fun. Because of that unique ambiance you get when people are together in the same room. However, the other thing that contributes to ambiance is background music or sound effects. And that you can do online. So one of the things that I do for all of my online games is I have background music. And you can do this in Roll20. If you're using Foundry VTT, you can add little add-ons that give you background music. And what I'll do is I will have certain selections, certain tracks, usually that are easy for me to find, so that when I need something that's mysterious, I pick that one. If it's battle, I have battle music. If it's whatever basic idea, if they're exploring a dungeon, I usually have some sort of dungeon music that I can put on there. And I have those ready to go so I can just push play. What I don't do is like have specific sound for every little scene or every little room, or that's more time. That takes more time than I have. If you do that, that's really cool, but I don't have that time. Sound effects could be cool, but here's the thing with sound effects. You gotta implement them smoothly, right? Like when you are running a game, I made an entire video about this. One of the things that makes a game good, in my opinion, and this can make or break a game, is how smooth the game is. Like if the game master is constantly making you wait because they have to find the sound effect. Wait guys, let me find the sound effect for fireball. And you're waiting. And they're like, wait, let me find the sound effect for a sword slash. And then you're waiting. Like that is miserable. Like I don't care how awesome your sound effects are. If you can't implement them smoothly so that people aren't waiting for you to click a button to do a sound effect, it's probably not worth including in your game. So you got to do it smoothly. But the background music, that's pretty easy to do. Like people are talking and I click a button and it changes it. It's easy, right? So, but those are the two things for ambiance. And the one, you're screwed online. You can't have people together. That's why it's online. The other, the music, you can totally do that, and that will help with ambiance. I highly recommend all game masters use music in their games. Oh, candles too. Let me show you something. You have to engage all your senses. So right here, you can almost see it. It's called Firelight Fables. I'm gonna, can one of my mods find their website, Firelight Fables, and put that in the chat, please? These guys make candles. This is apricot wax. I think it's apricot. Is that what it was? Yes. Oh, it's coconut apricot. So it's coconut apricot. This is like premium wax. It is designed to like not produce an odor and stuff that makes you like cough and causes what do you call it, irritations and stuff. So like when it burns, it doesn't cause irritations, you know. It smells amazing. This is Thieves Guild scent. They have tons of different scents. It's fantasy scents. They have fantasy scents. And this right here is a wooden wick. It's a wood wick. And oh my gosh. So this is something that I do in every single one of my games when I'm in person. is I have a candle burning, and if you watch my games, you can see the candle sitting right there on that shelf. You'll always be able to see my candle burning. And this contributes to ambiance as well. So we're engaging all of our senses, right? We have sight, because you can see stuff. You can hear stuff, you have music going on, and then you have smell. Now, feeling stuff in an online game, you're not gonna get that. Taste, you're not gonna get that, right? But if you, oh shoot, your question was about online games, and I'm telling you about burning a candle. Okay, well that online, you can't really do that. Unless you burn it for yourself, which I've actually done that before. I put the candle on just for myself. But if you're in person, Firelight Fables, I'm gonna goof up their name. Firelight Fables, I have been using their candles for, gosh, at least a year. I've been using it for at least a year, if not longer, and they are amazing. I have tons of their scents. So highly, highly recommend. Very, very nice stuff. All right, here we go. What do you think of the Pathfinder 2 version of Counterspell? We have used it once in our game. And because we haven't used it that often, it seems a little confusing to me. But I know that that's only because we don't use it that often. But here's the thing. My complaint about Counterspell for D&D 5th edition doesn't have a whole lot to do with the game mechanics. My complaint about Counterspell has to do with the fact that Counterspell takes somebody out of the game and doesn't let them play the game. So it's a fantasy role-playing game. You're in combat. What are the cool things that happen in combat? You attack each other with weapons, and you cast spells. Those are the cool things that happen in combat. Counterspell takes one of the coolest parts of the game and takes it out. It removes a cool element from the game. So if my enemies are counterspelling the wizard doesn't get to play, and their cool spells aren't in the game. If the wizard or somebody else is counterspelling my bad guys, well, those cool spells and stuff aren't in the game. You're literally taking something cool out of the game. And a lot of times you're making it so that a player or the game master don't get to play the game. That is deeply unsatisfying in my opinion. I've been on both sides as a game master and as a player getting counterspelled. It's not fun. It's not fun. So my objection to Counterspell is at a game design level, you are interrupting a very important fun part of the game. And so I don't like Counterspell. I hate Counterspell. I don't care if it's in D&D 5th edition. I don't care if it's in Pathfinder 2. It is a bad game mechanic. And I don't use it. I have like a pact with my players. Like, if you don't use Counterspell on me, I will not use it on you. And we all get to play the game. The moment you start counterspelling me, I will have bad guys that will counterspell you. And you want to make me suffer? I will make you suffer. Like, we can play this game, right? And we're both gonna lose. Or we could not play the game and we both win. And so that's like the unspoken rule, probably spoken rule that I have with my players. Like, let's just not counterspell each other, and then we all get to play. It's beautiful. It's beautiful when you get to play the game. But when you come to the game table and you get shut down and you don't get to play, well, then you don't feel so good. And so I hate Counterspell. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I don't care what game system it's for. Counterspell sucks. Period. End of story. Oh, check the allergies of your players before lighting a candle. Yeah, most candles use soy wax. I believe it's soy wax because it's cheap, right? Because soybeans, like grow. I live in Michigan, and there's like soybeans are one of the big things you plant. You have corn, you have soybeans, and they plant other things. But I know that corn and soybeans are two of the big things they plant in Michigan. We can probably do a Google search. Let's do a Google search, guys. Let's check this out together. What are the most common crops in Michigan? All right, let's see what this says. State of Michigan, so Michigan agricultural facts. The state leads the nation in the production of several crops, including asparagus. Wow. Black and small red beans. That might be soybeans. Are soybeans part of that? I think they are. Marigolds and squash. I have never seen those fields before. I always see cornfields and soybean fields where I am. Apples. We have lots of apples. Asparagus. I love asparagus. That's good. Beef. Yes. Oh, delicious. Blueberries. Oh yeah, we have blueberries. Cabbage. Ah, we love cabbage. My wife is from Central America, so cabbage, repollo, chicken is like super popular. It's delicious. Carrots. Yep, we have lots of carrots. Celery. I eat lots of celery too. Cherries. Oh yes, Traverse City, baby. Chestnuts. Oh, interesting. I didn't know about that. Christmas trees. We have Christmas trees here. Corn, yes, lots of corn. Holy crap, man. At 2.35 million acres, corn is Michigan's largest field crop. Oh, that's probably why I see it so much, because it's the largest field crop. I'm not a farmer, guys. Cucumbers, those are good. Dairy, oh yes, cheese, baby. Dry edible beans, heck yeah, baby. Giddy up. Man, I love it. Beans and eggs. Floriculture, I mean, they're pretty, but I don't care about flowers. Grapes, honey, I'm not. Hops, yes. Oh, you guys, we create hops. That's so important, you guys. It's such an important commodity because you eat them, not because you use them for fermentation processes. We're not talking about that. Maple syrup, I'm not really into that. Onions, yes. Onions are such a huge spicing that you put these in your food. It makes it taste better. Oh, yes. Peaches are okay. Pork. Oh, look at this. Bacon in the background. Bacon in the background. Oh, it's so good. Potatoes are okay. I don't eat a lot of potatoes. Poultry, I eat crap tons of chicken. Oh, my goodness. Pumpkins and squash. I don't see these a whole lot. That's interesting. Apparently, we make a lot of them. Snap beans. Oh, these are good. They call them snap beans. I just call them, yeah, that's interesting. Soybeans, there we go, soybeans. Soybeans are also our top agricultural commodity export. Oh my goodness. Soybeans, baby. Sugar beets. Oh, yep, we have tons of those. Sweet corn, giddy up sweet corn. Tomatoes, wheat, wood, and sponsors. Okay, well, there you go. That was your educational segment on the things that we grow in Michigan. I have some super chats. Here's a super chat. Thank you, Scythar, for the super chat. What do you think of letting PCs use 2 characters? Tried it as a new DM and felt weird. It was for player cap concerns, 4 to 5. Yeah, so I am perfectly fine with it. In fact, in my games, when a player misses a game session and we can't get someone to stand in for them, we have one of our players who play 2 characters. They'll play the missing player's character so that the game, like if there are 5 people or 6 or something in the game, we always have the right number of characters, and then they make sure they're at full power basically, and they don't get underpowered when they're going into their encounters and stuff, and I don't have to redesign crap. So we frequently have a player running 2 characters. You know, most players don't prefer it, but I don't mind it personally. I mean, I'm the game master usually, so like I'm used to running a whole bunch of crap. If you give me 2 characters to run, I can do that. That's not that hard. You know, now characters are more complex than monsters. Yes, we know, but I can do that. So I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. I'm in a Pathfinder 2 game as a player right now, and one of the rules, one of the things we talked about last game session was that very thing, that when a player is missing, each player should have a backup character, and that when another player is missing, they should bring their backup character in and play 2 characters. That way we're at full power. And so I fully support the idea of using having a player use 2 characters if they want to, or if you need to. Like, let's pretend that you're running a module and the module is designed for 4 players or 4 characters, and you only have 2 players. Well, that's a problem unless each of your players runs a character. and then you have 4 characters and problem solved. So I have no problem with it. I've done it a lot, continue to do it, and it's not an issue. I think the only caveat is that there are some players who are super slow and it's all they can do to run one character, and they should not be burdened with a second character. Let's just leave it at that. They grow sponsors in Michigan. Yes, they grow sponsors. Honey for mead. Oh, Michael, that's true. Honey for mead. I've only ever had mead once. I didn't like it because it was too sweet. When I drink, so like the types of, so the beer that I like to drink is hoppy beer, IPAs. I like IPAs. I like hoppy beer. I like strong beer. So there's a beer in Michigan called M43. M43 beer. Squeaky, will you relax? Okay, so this right here, this is probably one of my favorite beers. This is made in Michigan, and it's actually made probably about 30 minutes from where I live. So I drink this a lot. I have some in the refrigerator right now. I had one last night, so this is really good. And then the other one is Dragon's Milk. Dragon's Milk beer. I think it's an ale. It's actually an ale, but this is Dragon's Milk. This stuff is amazing. This is made in Holland. It's in Michigan too. It's also made in Michigan. Delicious, absolutely amazing beer. I don't like these beer because they're made in Michigan. Like, that's just kind of like cool, but they just taste good. I love the taste of them. So this is probably like I don't know, M43 or Dragon's Milk. They're both so good. I don't think I could pick a favorite. But they're just good. So those are good, and they're not sweet. They're not sweet at all. So I tried mead once, and it was way too sweet for me. Didn't quite do it for me. But I know lots of people love it. So, but you know, the thing is with America, we have a sugar problem, right? Everything has got sugar in it. Everything's got sugar in it. Everything. And so mead being popular, I think, makes sense. Joe says Dragon's Milk all the way. Yes, it's stinking good. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, drop your questions in the chat. If you didn't get your question answered, if it got skipped over because I'm a cruel, heartless jerk, then you can repost your question in the chat and we will try to get it a second time, unless I ignore you again, in which case you should probably find me and beat the tar out of me, I suppose. I don't know. So repost your question if we didn't get it. And as a reminder, we are doing a giveaway today. You can win a copy of, well, anything we publish, I suppose, because it's store credit. You get $50 DM Lair store credit, where we have tons of resources for your games, 5th edition, Pathfinder 2, and we have Foundry packs as well that you can grab. We'll draw the winner at the end of the stream, which is about 20 minutes from now, and then that person will get cool crap. So join the giveaway. There's a link for it. There we go. Our moderators are on the ball. Nice job. Freight Train won. Owen, Freight Train posted that link faster than you. You got to pick up your game a little bit there, buddy. It's kind of slow. I know you've taken a big break from being a moderator, but you got to get those links a little bit faster, So giveaway going on, join that. And we have our next Kickstarter launching in under a month. Layers and Legends 2 is coming out. This Kickstarter right here is going to be amazing. These covers are cool. These covers right here, these alt covers, so gorgeous. For the first 3 days, 72 hours, we are going to have special prices for early backers. So click the link down in the description and in the chat so you can follow that Kickstarter and get notified when it launches. These 2 big books are going to give you over 600 pages of 5th edition resources. Adventures spanning levels 1 to 20, 30 adventures, over 30 adventures, mind you, over 100 new monsters that your players have never seen before, and so they're not going to know anything about them. It'll be an actual, like, oh wow, what is this thing? So a bunch of new monsters, we have traps, we have puzzles, the types of things that you can drag and drop into your game. Maybe you're homebrewing stuff. Maybe you make your own adventures, but geez, traps, gosh, those are hard to design. Or you're running out of creativity. And puzzles, who has time to come up with puzzles? So these are things you can drag and drop into your games to make your life easier. And then a lot of people tell us that the adventures, they get inspiration from our adventures. And they might pull things out of our adventures to put into their own homebrew and stuff. We have new rule sets as well. Gaps that are in the 5th edition rule set that we help to fill in a little bit to make things a little bit more interesting and fun for you. So this thing is launching April 2nd. Follow this bad boy, get notified when it goes live. It's going to be amazing. And it's like, well, Luke, it's your Kickstarter. You kind of have to say that, don't you? Yeah, I do, but it doesn't change the fact that it's amazing. There we go. When is the cat strike? We can do a cat strike right now for you. Fred, happy to do a cat strike. You ready for this bad boy? All right. It's cat strike time. Let's see if we get any customers. Oh, we're getting some customers. We got some customers. Is anybody's cats at home getting worked up? Other people's cats probably are responding to this. All right. Relax. Take it down a level. There we go. My dog is waking up. I'm gonna give my dog something too. Cause she just woke up. Oh, here's another cat. Zoe. You guys wanna see Diaper Dog? Okay, let me show you Diaper Doggy. Diaper Dog! Diaper Dog! There's Diaper Dog. Eating her snack. She wears a diaper now because some of you were here. Who was here when she pooped on my live stream? This was like a month or 2 months ago. She literally pooped on one of my live streams. Who was here for that? It was spectacular. So now, Diaper Dog. No, the Jackal. No more incidents ever again. The Jackal was here. Dungeon of Terror was here. Callan Zero was. Yes, Anthony, the poop incident of 2024. Streaming diaper. Steaming diaper. It was awesome. That was your first stream? So Jackal, you came to your first stream ever to witness my dog take a dump. Man, that's crazy. Oh man. Jaron Hatch, what's up, dude? How you doing, buddy? Glad you could catch the stream, man. Sith Lord says, didn't you used to have carpet? Yes, I now have. This is not, it looks like hardwood. It's not hardwood because you don't put hardwood in the basement because basements are wet. That's not big brain stuff. So this is, it looks like hardwood, but this is what you call that premium vinyl plank flooring. It's not hardwood, but it looks like it. So yeah, but yes, we used to have carpet and the carpet was old and nasty and smelled like cat urine. Imagine that. And so now the basement smells clean. It's amazing. All right. Hawk? Okay, Jaron Hawk. Thank you, sir. Here we go. Welcome to the long list of people's names I have mispronounced. It is a long list. Welcome, welcome. Jacoby says, I'm thinking, wait, do we have any? Oh, I have some super chats. Okay, Jacoby, I'll get back to you in a second. Sorry, tease. Okay, here's a super chat. Audiobook Junkies says, I thought to improve armor class by adding resistance by armor type. Light resistance to piercing, medium resistance to piercing, and slashing, etc. Thoughts? I mean, oh, there's nothing on screen. I should probably go back to my big face. So what you're proposing, there's nothing inherently wrong or bad with that thought. What you're doing is you are introducing more complexity into the game. And the thing with complexity, whenever, this is like a rule of thumb that I have. Whenever I'm considering changing a rule that makes the game more complex, the amount of fun needs to increase at least proportionately, if not twofold. So if I want to make a rule whereby, you know, the type of armor you wear does like damage reduction, or in your case, you're doing like, you know, adding resistance by armor type. If I want to make that rule, that is adding complexity to the game. And so my rule of thumb is that the fun that results needs to be there. Like, it needs to make the game more fun and more interesting, and not just for the game master who wants to get under the hood and poke at things, but it needs to make the game more fun for the players as well. Because if it's not, then it's like, well, you're making the game more complex for everyone, but it's not more fun. So why are we doing it? Because the goal is to have fun, right? Now you could say there are other goals, right? You're role playing. Sometimes you want to simulate things. You're simulating battle. You're simulating this, that. So like there are other goals, you know. But I think it's safe to say that the majority of people's main goal is to have fun. So whenever you introduce added complexity, you want the game to be more fun as a result. That's your basic rule of thumb. And so the question to ask yourself is, you know, is that change to armor going to make the game more fun? And maybe you won't know until you try it. And that's fair, because sometimes we have ideas and we're like, and then you try it and you're like, yay, we love it. Other times you have ideas and you're like, and you try it and your players are like, Luke, this sucks. Please take this away. You know, and it's like, okay, it was an idea. We'll just take that out of the game. Thank you. So anyway, I would just consider that, you know, as you're implementing it. But there's nothing inherently wrong with it. We all have these little ideas, these little things where it's like, I want to do this, you know. There's nothing wrong with trying it. So just consider it. Okay, now let's go back to, that was super chat, sweet. Now we're back to Jacoby Cotton. Hey Luke, I am thinking of starting a channel for new DMs, specifically for running Curse of Strahd. Do you think that is a dying niche, or do you have a better idea to start a channel? I don't even start a channel, man. I don't know, dude. A channel for new dungeon masters. You know, the thing is that most channels that are out there aren't for dungeon masters, I don't think. I'm not familiar with all the channels that are out there because I don't have time to watch videos, frankly. Not D&D videos. I watch other types of videos. But the last I checked, 95% of the D&D channels that are out there are either news-based or they're player-based. And they give stuff that players want to see, or they'll give like industry news and stuff. You know, Wizards of the Coast did this horrible thing, another scandal. You know, there's lots of that news out there. So I would wager a guess that the number of channels that are devoted to Dungeon Master resources are probably fewer, which means there's less competition, maybe, you know, but you also have a smaller user base because there are fewer Dungeon Masters than there are players. So there's that to consider. Now you're going to niche it down and just talk about playing Curse of Strahd. So there's the idea of you do want to address a particular audience, right? Like if you just make YouTube videos for everyone, it's probably not going to work. Most people, and there are people that make YouTube videos for everyone, but they usually started in a very particular topic, a very particular niche. And so when you say I'm going to make D&D videos, you've niched it down. And then you say, I'm going to make Dungeon Master videos. You've niched it down even more. And then you say, I'm going to make videos for Dungeon Masters who are running Curse of Strahd. You have now narrowed your niche so much that to focus your channel purely on Dungeon Masters running Curse of Strahd, the niche is so narrow, and there are so few people that are even going to be interested in that you're probably going to have a hard time capturing an audience, because there just aren't that many people interested in that particular topic, right? Because you've niched down too far, right? Now, if you niche it up and say, my channel is going to be focused on modules. We're going to talk about running modules, and we're going to deep dive into modules. So when Wizards releases a brand new module, you are right there. You got that module, you're flipping through it, and then you're analyzing it, and you're giving tips, and you're breaking things down, and you're doing all of this stuff. You might publish your own resources, handouts and stuff that people can use with that module. You know, that might be a slightly bigger niche, right? That might be viable. I don't know. But that is probably better than just saying only Curse of Strahd, right? And you have to also think about, like, one of the things to consider too is how long can you talk about that topic? Can you make content every week, like a video every week about Curse of Strahd, something about Curse of Strahd? Can you do that? Is that possible? Maybe. I would probably run out of ideas fast for that, but you're not me. So those are some things to think about. Things for you to consider. I'm not telling you either way. I'm just giving you ideas, right? And things to put in your brain and to analyze, right? And think through. So, go. Owen Davies says, I don't think Luke says my surname correct. Still, Davies? How else would you say Davies? I gotta be saying that right. I don't think there's a different way to pronounce that, dude. Unless you want me to... I don't know. Tamajo says, what reward can make players feel accomplished that isn't just magic item number 5? All right, so rewards. Let's go over here. We're gonna go to Google. We're gonna do this together. So rewards and recognition, DM Lair. So we have a blog post that talks about advanced rewards and recognitions. You can find this blog post on our site, and I have a video as well. You can find this video on my YouTube channel as well. If you want to go to the blog post, you can go to the blog post. Okay, this is the video. The video, oh, it's gonna prompt me for that. Nope, I'm already on my own newsletter. It's an advanced rewards and recognition system, and it goes through different things that you can reward players with: appointments, decorations, services, transportation, contacts, training, hirelings. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. Favors, patronage, special privileges, business, properties, titles, nobility. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can reward. So go look at this, read. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. And the other thing is that if you get our Coin and Courage issue of Lair magazine, it breaks down this system a lot too and gives you a lot more granular options. We have tables for the different things you can reward players with. So there's lots of cool stuff in here. But you're right. You are 100% right. And you are hitting on a very big thing. In D&D 5th edition, out of the box, you basically are told to reward players with magic items and gold. And yes, there's a little thing in the back of the Dungeon Master Guide that tells you like boons and other things and stuff. So it's kind of there, maybe a little bit. But the big things are gold and magic items, and that gets boring. And that's why my team and I put together this resource, because we're like, this stuff is boring. Let's give some more ideas to people for things they can reward their players with. And so we put this together. So you can go look at that. We have a video about it. There's a blog post as well, which are the free crap. You know, and in this paid one, we give way more information and tables and stuff. So hopefully that is useful to you. I basically told you to go read a blog post. That was my answer. Go read my blog post. Thanks, Luke. It's a soft ending. Davis, Well, then you spelled it wrong. It's not how you spell Davis, man. You must be from England or something. Oh, I know you are. I'm messing with you now. I'm poking fun at you. And now he quit. I just lost a moderator. I was making fun of his name and now he quit. Oh man, I gotta stop. Tashio, you gotta help me out, man. I'm burning through moderators here. This messed up. Are you planning, oh, so this is from John Pierce. Are you planning on doing any more resources for the Shadowfell? I don't think we made anything for the Shadowfell. Did we? I don't think I've made anything for Shadowfell. I know I've made like Feywild resources. Into the Fey was an adventure module we have, and right now we're writing Escape from the Fey, which is the sequel, and that goes out to our $25 patrons. So, but I don't know about Shadowfell. That does not ring a bell. I could be wrong. That could be something that we published that I'm not aware of, because I mean, I can't put eyeballs on everything because we publish so much content. How would you get people who have never heard of D&D into the game? I would invite them to play. I would run a game session for them, and I would try to make the rules a little bit simpler. I have a very lightweight RPG game system that I developed. It fits on like 2 pieces of paper. It's super simple. I need to like publish that thing. It's like 2 pages. I need to just kind of publish that thing and get it out there, because it is how I introduce people to the game who have never played before. I have done this. I had a job before at a company, and one of the guys was like, "Hey Luke, run D&D for us as a team." And none of them had played D&D before, and I was like, if I just have them run D&D 5th edition, it's going to be too complicated, and we'll spend the whole time explaining the rules. And so I designed my own little game system for them, and it was awesome. We had fun. And then at my church, they had like a lock-in for the kids one night. It's like a sleepover. We didn't lock them in. I mean, the doors were locked, but there were no fire hazards. Okay, just relax. So we had this lock-in at church, and I ran D&D for a group of kids using this lightweight rule set. And so I would introduce new players using a lightweight rule set that makes things a little bit simpler, isn't quite as complicated. That's what I would do. You could use mine, except that I haven't published it. It's in a book over there in my cabinet. But just invite them to play, try to make it as fun as possible, and decodify the rules so it's not super confusing and stuff. Just tell them to roll dice, and you'll figure out the rest. Just roll some pretty dice, and just tell me what you got, and then I'll just figure it out. And then don't worry about sticking to the rules too much. Your goal is to introduce them to the concept of the game and have fun, not to sit there and be like, nope, get to follow the rules, baby. So I think those are some high-level pieces of advice that I can give you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna draw the winner to the giveaway. So this is your last chance to get in on the giveaway. Go join the giveaway right now. Get $50 store credit and get some cool resources to use in your game. So go click the link down in the chat in the place down below. Owen's like, I just got back and I'm already gone. I don't think so. All right, so go join the giveaway. We're gonna draw that in just a second. Also, while you're at it, don't forget to follow our next Kickstarter. Lairs and Legends 2 is launching April 2nd in under a month. And we're gonna have early backer specials going for our alt covers. You will save tons of money in the first 3 days, the first 72 hours. We're gonna have these 2 big books here, 2 big massive books, over 300 pages each. You're gonna have over 600 pages of content to use in your 5th edition games. It is gonna be beautiful, so you wanna follow that bad boy right there. And then I'm gonna answer one more question that I'm staring at right here, and then we're gonna draw the giveaway, and then we're done. How do you stay motivated to get, okay, so first of all, the Jackal, you've asked this question 3 times. I'm going to address it. What tips would you give me for making puzzles, as I've never made one before? I'm horrible at making puzzles. Puzzles are not my forte. They're not my deal. I'm not good at them. Literally, what I do is I do Google searches for puzzles. I try to get ideas from somebody else, and then I try to implement them. But my preference is to buy pre-made puzzles. This is one of the reasons that we publish puzzles in Lair magazine, is because I know from personal experience that not everybody's good at making puzzles, and puzzles can be really hard to make. And so we publish puzzles for people to use as a resource. So I can't really give you good advice on making puzzles because that is not my subject matter expertise. So sorry. Now this is the question I am going to answer. Banana Bandama Man, sorry, I messed that up, says, how do you stay motivated to get things done when creating a homebrew campaign? You guys, I'm the wrong person to talk about motivation. I do it because I got to do it. If not for homebrew campaigns, because I'm excited about my homebrew campaigns, and so that helps me to make them. But for things in my life, my job in general, that I am not motivated to do, I exercise discipline. That's what I do. If the thing has to get done, I do it. It doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not. It doesn't matter. I just do the thing. Like today I had to do some game design reviews for some publications that we're doing. And I don't like doing game design reviews. I just don't. I don't like it. You know, I don't find it fun. I mean, I'm okay at it. It's not like I'm bad at it, but like I don't think I am. But it's not something I look forward to, you know, but it had to get done. And so I have zero motivation, but it's got to get done. And so I do it. And so I don't know. Look at, there are some things in your life that you're going to be motivated to do. And there are other things in your life that you're going to be like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But if you have to do it, you have to do it. So you just do it. You put one foot in front of the next and you just start and you work on it and you work through it. And eventually it's done. And then when it's done, you feel good about yourself because that thing that I didn't want to do, it is done. And now I don't got to do it because I already did it. And so that is the thought process I use when I have to do a thing that I don't want to do. It's like, Luke, you got to do it anyway. Just start. That's it. And this is almost a mantra that I use. Just start. I have to write a script. I'm getting better at it, but I usually don't like writing scripts for videos. I don't mind filming. I like watching the videos and stuff, but I don't like writing scripts usually. And so what I do is I say, Luke, just start. Get your script template. Create a new version of it for this particular script. Open it up in Word. Start. Just start. That's the key. Just start. And then once you start, it's like you just keep going. You just keep going. And so when you're not motivated, that's what you do. Now, sometimes once you get warmed up to it, you get motivated. For me, we're specifically talking about homebrew and designing games, like a lot of times if I don't feel motivated, once I actually open up the bestiary, once I start designing the adventure and looking at monsters, and that will get me excited. And then I get motivated and then I'm in the mood. But whenever I have to do a thing and I'm not motivated, I just start and I force myself to do it. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to be super inspired? Okay, yeah. Does it mean that maybe it won't be my best work? Okay, yeah, maybe not, you know, but it gets done. And then there are other things in life that I like that do motivate me and that are more enjoyable. And that's just the way it is. But you can't go through life not doing the things that you don't feel motivated to do and only doing the things you're motivated to do, because then you don't get jack diddly squat done. You probably lose your job. You have no money. You get kicked out of your apartment and you live on the streets. Like at some point you have to exercise discipline, right? To do undesirable things or unsavory things or things you just don't like that aren't fun, right? This is life, right? You suck it up, you get on the horse and you do the thing. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I should probably draw the giveaway winner now. All right, here we go. Whee! I gotta draw a winner. Draw a winner. Draw a winner. Here we go. All right, Brian from New Jersey. Brian from New Jersey, you have won. I will be sending you an email with your winnings enclosed. All right, cool. I'll email you, dude. Good job, Brian. Good game. Good game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are finished. I'm going to bed. We are done for the night. Thank you for joining us. If I didn't answer your question, it's because I'm a cold, heartless jerk, and you should totally be mad at me. But come to the next live stream and try again, because maybe, just maybe, I won't ignore you. It's not like I'm ignoring you necessarily. I didn't see it or something. I don't know. But thanks, guys. I'm leaving. I'm gonna push the stop button and I'm gonna get out of here. And I'm gonna clean my litter boxes and go to bed. So when you have that many cats, that's what you gotta do. You just gotta clean your litter boxes all the time. All right.